Hehehehe and welcome to another PrisciTV day. Yay 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 and more multiples yay 37. Lololo. My brodas, how y'all doing today? Hi Onolith. Hi Moppy. Hi Rocky. What is a pocket message? Lolololo. Hi Doc. Hello Ace. Lolalolol phone on the pocket lolalol. Don't worry lolalolo. Ace can see things, I guess. Hi Darth. Catch the train. Whoa, train. Thomas the train goes burr burr. OMG choo choo. OMG, it actually sounded like one holy TTS. Choo THCUU. But yeah, my brodas, another day, another nothing.
Yeah.
PRISCI day.
Today there was no net when I waked up.
Wow.
Choo choo.
Spectra thanks you so much for the 4 months. Prisci 37. Analith Chu thanks. Yeah, I am glad last time this happened it came kinda late. There's an application, the service has one, and you can test how the service is performing and if it has any errors. Physical or any error. The good thing is that it's being reported. If an error occurs automatically,
Prisci Day,
Lololo. Animated emotes. But yeah, here we are, the net is back and we good bad things still no AC womp womp. But this will not pass this week. And PC will be more fresh. My brodas, I had checked the temps while this days is not cool but not dangerous. So all good still. I don't like seeing CPU reaching those temps lololo. Well PC in general. Lolololo. The electrician that needed to change the rusty part didn't come today, so I am guessing the part still not buyed. But yeah, gotta be patience. Probably tomorrow. Also, the AC will be checked on Friday. So sorry if on Friday there's no stream. But in any case, I will let y'all know. Since the AC smelled weird the other day. I haven't used it again. I hope everything is alright, but something probably happened because I smelled burnt wire and that smell woke me up. But they'll know what to do, and that's it. Lololo. But yeah, I hate that all turned out this days like that. In general, the energy in home is a mess and AC acted weird cuz it. And yeah, hating this. Also, the thing that we are getting electric cuts again makes me bruh. I hope it mega rains. I hope the sky falls like no joke cuz we need that water. Lololo. Gotta make a rain dance lol. Strom's song lolalol. Storm's song Lolo. Now I gotta worry on lots of stuff, but I can do it. This bad moment will be overcome. That's the only way I can think right now. Lololo teehee. Cuz if not I'm scared. Lolololo. Now I feel kinda on a rush to buy that energy station before the backquote prices goes like crazy. I will keep an eye on it. So we can stream at least. And have a fan or something connected. So yeah, my brodas. That had been the update of the day. Lolololo. OMG, those music notes are cool. Lolololol. Storm dance. My brodas, thanks for y'all nice wishes. Let's hope for the best. Appreciate y'all cool words. Not the data exchange going on in the chat. Lololol. My brodas, thanks for being here. Let's start with some vids. First vid is the delusional vampire cult. I swear is not my cult. Mine is Chillololo.
Pablo Meat Channel, how you doing? Coming at sundown because today we're going to be talking about real life vampires. No, I'm serious. They're real. Vampires have been a topic of interest for quite a long time. Whether it's Bram Stoker's Dracula or the Twilight franchise, they seem to have a timeless presence within pop culture history. What if I told you that vampires were far more than fictional characters bound to the pages of romance fantasy novels where people flick their beans. That's right! If you travel around the world, you'll find many small communities who truly believe that they are vampires. They drink blood, they have fangs, and only come out at night.
Nah, no shit, humans kinda crazy.
Just like in the legends of old. In fact, in 2016 alone, there were as many as 5,000 people in the United States that publicly identified themselves as vampires. Grand scheme of the United States, not a lot, but that's still too many in my opinion. You don't need to be acting like that.
Times have changed where you could just publicly come out as a vampire.
If it was Puritan times, dude, you'd be probably fucking burned.
Oh yeah, they'd drive a stake through your heart.
Yeah, I'm a vampire. These days, their presence only grows stronger. So grab your wooden stakes as we dive deep into the mysterious depths. It goes without saying that franchises like Twilight greatly boosted the popularity of vampires in pop culture. You had a weird time in the early 2000s where late 90s you had Blade and all kinds of other shit. Blade, Underworld, Queen of the Damned,
Wow.
all these Hollywood movies
A
where
little
sex,
Christmas cheer.
action-packed vampires, and those people
Ace, thanks you so much. Thanks 37 Ace.
decided to turn it to Tweenie Bob stuff and make it Twilight, which was just a little like, oh, I wish my boyfriend was a sexy, glittery vampire. There were so many people who had that first Twilight book.
Oh.
Was the apple on it? Holy shit. That one, that and the, I was at a bookstore when that first came out, and it was like girls like screaming and grabbing off the shelf. And then also I got what's the last, Deathly Hollows? That was another one where it was just absurd. It was insane. Pandemonium. One of my favorite things, though, is whenever back in the day when Half-Blood Prince came out, people drove by and they were like, "Our Snape kills Dumbledore."
There's that one where it's like, Hermione kills Dumbledore.
And people were like, "No!" in the line, "No!"
Snape kills Dumbledore!
Which that is fucked up, but, you know, looking back now, it's funny.
He was just trolling.
Well, I'm talking about the guy that he was spitting facts.
Dobby and Hedwig die.
Oh, fuck! Hey, guys!
While vampires in the media have often been portrayed as sultry, these movies turn them into beloved heartthrobs. People on TikTok have long since used people's love for vampire aesthetics to create thirst trap videos. Ooh, sexy. Isn't that nice? I'm a vampire. Let me suck ya. Some will throw on some fangs and smolder at the camera, while other creators on TikTok, like Vampire Jack, dedicate their entire online career to dressing in full vampire garb and playing the character, which you have to appreciate the commitment. These videos can range from comedic skits to seductive vampire ASMR videos. Others engage in vampire roleplay games like Reign of Blood, a text-based roleplay game which claims to have been running for over 18 years and still have active players to this day.
People have no shame these days. My culture is not your costume.
And a majority of these content creators and roleplay enjoyers are simply doing it for the fun of and for online attention, right? You do it because you want, there's other freaks out there and you're trying to meet your people. Right? It's the same thing like playing a game, making a post that has a certain kind of music. You're trying to reach a community. I don't blame them. However, this is where things kind of take an odd turn. Right? There are many people out there who reach far beyond simple roleplay. Sam the Vampire is a woman on TikTok who seems to genuinely think that she is a vampire. According to her, she turned when she was 22 years old after being bitten by a vampire in the year 1888, which makes her 135 years old in vampire years, of course. She makes countless videos talking about her vampire tales, like the time she was kidnapped by a rival vampire named Ava, and that she plans to enact revenge on that vampire. There's various videos of her explaining what types of power she possesses, and they include hypnotism, mind reading, jumping very high. Hypnotism, mind reading, I can leap, I can jump high. She has superhuman strength and the ability to seduce whoever she wants. She then adds that she can only use said seduction powers if the other person consents, because you gotta have that. She's a consent queen despite her being from the 19th century. That doesn't really seem to track to me, but you know what? She's, you know, of the times.
Wait, how does that work?
It's a way for a girl to sit there and then be like, then if someone's like, I'm not attracted to you, she'd be like, well, I didn't use my powers on you. It's that. It's the female version of this. Lift this car. I don't want to break a finger now. Also, she has the ability to show her true, horrifying vampire form, but doesn't because she isn't allowed to. I love female Redditor stuff like that. It's so good. She's ridiculed online for being delusional, with many being unclear if it's a satire or something more grim. Regardless, her constant insistence of being a real-life vampire led to her being banned off TikTok live due to spreading misinformation. She's like, they wish that they knew the truth. I love how it's a bannable offense to be like, I'm a vampire. TikTok's like, no, banned. You can't say I'm a kangaroo. Oh my God, no. Unless she was just like, well, let's talk about where Corona really started.
Oh, okay, then, yeah.
I think that's what it might be. I think she's like, yeah, it's because I'm a vampire. It's like, no, because you kept saying a bunch of racial slurs towards Chinese people. That may have happened once or twice. Sam also claims that she drinks blood. Ooh. While this may sound ridiculous to most passing viewers, it turns out that she is far from the first person to do so. Sanguinarians are a community within vampire subculture. They're different from lifestyle vampires who simply take on the aesthetic of wearing fangs and gothic style clothing and looking super hot. Sanguinarians are vampires who engage in consumption supposedly for the sake of sustaining their health.
I must.
Smart, yeah. If I don't, I'm going to perish. They practice this by utilizing donors, sometimes referred to as black swans, who are people or romantic partners that are willingly allow their blood to be drunk. In some cases, they'll do it for financial compensation. Need some cash? Don't need to go down to the plasma bank. Let me suck on your neck. Would you, if you could go donate plasma once a week for 5 weeks, you got $250 after all of it. Or if one guy was like,
You hear him said. Donate plasma.
will you let me suck on your neck? I'll give you $500 right now.
No.
You do the plasma?
I do the plasma.
What if he said it'll be 2 minutes?
I don't want. No. If the thing was, I'd only do that if I knew I wasn't gonna get.
What if it was 1,000?
If I was knew I wasn't gonna.
$2,000.
I don't want some. He's probably got nasty ass teeth. He doesn't brush his.
$4,000.
No, I'm not risking.
$10,000.
I'm not risking.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
$50,000. 2 minutes.
That's a long time.
2 minutes. That's 120 seconds.
Okay, he's got to ensure that he's brushed his teeth.
50,000. You don't get to insure anything. 50 grand.
That's a long time to be sucking my blood.
$100,000.
All right, now you're talking.
Thank God. See, exactly. So it's always somewhere it's like, okay. Like, what if he said $500,000?
Oh yeah. Just
Okay.
like, yeah.
So that's okay. What about?
I'd hire a nurse to watch.
No.
I would hire.
He has to hide in the darkness. He can't see anybody see him.
I put a little GoPro, stream it. Have a nurse on standby.
Would you just be looking at the GoPro like this?
Yeah. I'd be like, am I okay? Is this good? I'd consult a doctor first. I'm like, this guy's maybe $500,000.
I'd be too nervous. If a guy's paying you $500,000, I'd be like, he's in everybody's pocket. He goes, I just wanted to get a checkup. The doctor is like white and face paint on. I think it's a good idea, actually. Thank you, doctor.
Actually, now you got me scared because now I got to feel like he ain't paying me the $500,000. I'm dying. He's killing me. I'm going to be like, stop.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's an actual vampire. See, that's how he's an actual vampire.
It's real. It's real. Yeah. Some opt to drink blood of animals, while others engage in auto-vampirism, the act of consuming your own blood, which is fucking lame, dude. Oh, I taste good. Fucking give me someone else's blood, dude, and not a dog. I want man blood. Each supposed vampire has their own method for feeding. Some, for example, use a disposable scalpel, make a small incision on their donor, and squeeze the blood out before drinking it and patching up the wound. Many claim that this is not an elaborate roleplay, and that drinking blood stops them from experiencing severe headaches and debilitating stomach pain. Other Sanguarians believe their thirst for blood is purely psychological. Regardless, there is a lack of scientific evidence to support this as a legitimate remedy.
It's all mental, yeah.
I'm a vampire. Oh, what kind of mental illness is this? It's got to be like it's a microdose of autism, almost, right? You're microdosing at this point.
I'm an autistic adult, and my special interest is Count Dracula.
It's delusional. You're just delusional.
It seems like autism and narcissism. I don't act as if I have a choice. I don't want this curse. Please, just give me a suck. Let me suck at least once. Also, the person that's sitting there and they're drinking for themselves, what a fucking pick-me girl. Oh, I have to do this.
She's not a real vampire. She's just fucking retarded.
She's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
There are various types of real-life vampires. For example, psychic vampires, who feed on the life force of their humans rather than consume their blood. Boring! Supposedly, this can be done with or without physical contact, and some feed off people by talking directly to people, while others choose to circulate crowds at concerts or clubs to siphon it out of them more subtly, which is definitely just like a fucking loner or outcast who just awkwardly walks around and he's just like, I'm full. Instead of having a human connection with anybody, I'm actually more of a vampire. I can't talk to you because I don't want to kill you. Why is the accent always so? It's always the same accent too. Why is that? What is it about the social cadence that it always sounds like?
Because they're trying to be cool. That's like the anime thing. Yeah.
So does it stem from anime?
I think so. Yeah.
Like that would make me feel really good, but maybe I won't. It's
anime.
Is it just anime?
It's 100%.
But it's all of them.
They watch anime. They're watching
all right.
vampire anime.
Lolo.
Vampire hunter do you say? That's pretty cool. There are even hybrid vampires who utilize the feeding techniques of sanguarians and psychic vampires depending on what's available to them. What a fucking cop-out. What a cop-out. That's such bullshit. This may seem silly, yeah, to the average person, to anybody, to anyone, but it seems that the allure of the vampire lifestyle has captured the hearts and minds of many because people are horny. It's mentally ill people who have their heart.
Lololo. The only accent I have is bad English.
Hard. And I don't know how to express it. I'm stiff in the pants, but at the same time, I'm kind of tired.
There's one thing where you're like, oh, I just find it hot to role play. But if you're actually believe you're a vampire, you're delusional.
You're delusional. You're mentally ill. Get help. Which, take Andres Bathory, for example, a self-proclaimed vampire from Romania that changed his entire life.
What about Spanish and Japanese TTS? That's not me, that's a messenger. The Spapanese lolalol. 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 Well, I think I do have an accent, of course, but nothing crazy. Spapanese.
Life after the warlord Vlad Tepes, aka the Vlad the Impaler, spoke to him in a dream. According to the interview he did with the Mirror, he became engrossed with the vampire community soon after. While he refuses to drink blood, he admits to sleeping in a coffin in order to bring his mind peace as well as connect with unseen forces. And apparently, he learned that this was possible after doing his own personal research, where he would spend day after day in cemeteries. He claims that discussing his vampirism is dangerous and can only be understood by people with high levels of intellect. Do you think that, like, there's some people who, so like the coffin thing, sleeping in a coffin, whatever, take that aside, do you think it's just the mental fortitude of being like, I'm not claustrophobic, I'm like, I like being mentally strong enough to just be like, I'm in this confined space, sleeping, that makes you feel like you have clarity?
Yeah, I mean, it's all psychological, where it's just like...
What was that fucking movie with Adrian Brody? They put him in a straitjacket and they put you in like a cadaver, like a...
It's like an ice box.
Like a locker, like a body locker or whatever. But he's in there and it's like super claustrophobic, and it was supposed to be like which this is a movie. I'm not saying it's real, but I'm just saying, like, I wonder if there is some benefits to like being able to like ease your mind, like you panic and then you're able to like focus your mind and stuff. It's punishing. It feels horrible, but after a while, it, like, you know, it has all these benefits, which granted, ice baths, there's a lot of medical shit that is beneficial, but I don't know.
The coffin could be a thing where it's just like, it's an enclosed space where you're just like, if you're not claustrophobic, it's just like, oh, it's comforting. It's pitch black.
Almost like a weighted blanket.
Yeah, almost like that. You're like in,
what are the fucking, the tanks? What are the
yeah, sensory deprivation.
Yeah, sensory deprivation tanks. It's like that.
It could be like that too.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Real life vampires, whether they drink the blood of donors or simply like to wear flashy attire and make cringe TikToks, are generally pretty harmless. In some cases, however, self-proclaimed vampires can take things a bit too far. Lyle Monroe Besley, a 19-year-old from Texas, believed he was a
Darth Chiwi, thank you for the streak. Appreciate it.
500-year-old vampire from hell. I could stop it right there, and that would be enough, but we'll have to keep going. At one point, he had convinced himself that he needed to feed on human blood. Dressed in nothing but his boxer shorts, he broke into a woman's apartment and began biting her on the neck. The woman freaked the fuck out, like anyone would, and escaped her home, jumping in her neighbor's car for protection. The man began banging on the car before it was able to drive away. Officers arrived to find Lyle pacing around the parking lot, hissing and growling like a dog. Then the officers chased a half-naked vampire who scaled multiple fences as he screamed about how he didn't want to have to feed on humans. I don't want to have to do this! Eventually, he was captured and put in jail, where he requested that he be restrained because his desire to feed was so great that it would put their lives in danger. Autism. Because the Twilight movies were still being released around this time to massive success, clinical psychologists suggested that this was psychotic episode fueled by vampire-related hallucination. Motherfucker got like so horny during the Twilight movie that he's just like, I have to break into a woman's house and bite the fuck out of her. I could see that being the Billy sitting there, he's like rubbing his dick, and us, he's like, why are you so? I feel weird. I got butterflies in my tummy.
He wanted to be Edward.
Am I sparkling? Someone's like, shut up. We're trying to watch a movie. Oh my god. I'm sparkling. How do they see me? You're not invisible. What? Vampires are often depicted as solitary creatures held up in their crypts far away from a hamlet in the valley. However, one vampire has managed to gather hundreds of others for full cult-like gatherings. They call themselves the Saber-Tooth Clan. This is a weird one, boys. It all started back in '94 when Aaron Todd Hoyt used his grandmother's orthodontist tools to make a pair of vampire fangs for himself and his mother. Right? Harmless little fun. Grandfather, whatever. A year later, he would form the Saber-Tooth Clan, where he began creating and selling fangs to people that could live out their vampire dreams. He found a nice little niche. It was nice. His business grew to be very successful and harbored a very devoted customer base. To thank his customers and gather vampire enthusiasts all in one place, he began hosting a New York Vampire Ball in 1996. Only 2 years later, he founded the infamous Endless Night Festival in New Orleans. Since then, his festivals have only grown, with thousands of people attending multiple events across the nation each year. At each event, you can expect to find heavy metal bands, burlesque shows, masquerade dances, open bars, and various special guest speakers. This might seem like a really awesome party, but the deeper you dig, the weirder things get. For starters, everyone at the party or in Aaron's circle addresses him as Father Sebastian or Primus. These events are not all open to the public, and many of them are inner court only, which means you have to be a part of his exclusive Saber-Tooth Club. To get into the inner court, you must receive a pair of fangs from the master fangsmith himself, Father Sebastian. First, you got to choose a style of fang, how many you want. Depending on your choice, you may be charged between $200 to $400 per session. Once you have your fangs, you have to go through the Rite of Transformation, which is an induction ceremony for all new members, and there are 4 steps to this ritual. 1, I will not sleep with my fangs on. By the power.
Question mark, 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 question mark.
Signo de cierre de interrogación, signo de cierre de interrogación.
Of Sebastian, in a southern accent. That's very important. Look at yourself in the mirror with your fangs on, receive your vampire name, and finally, pray to Ankh, an ancient Egyptian symbol meant to represent life, immortality, and rebirth. New members are also instructed on 4 key principles that represent what it means to be a modern-day vampire. 1, primal instinct, being connected to your animalistic impulses. You gotta have that. 2, magic. Wearing your fangs can transform your appearance to otherworldly creatures in the eyes of others. Pretty sweet. 3, escapism. Your fangs are a mask that conceal your identity, allowing yourself to take on a new form. It's kind of like the shapeshift. It doesn't matter. Keep going. 4, desire. The fangs are also used as a way to enhance arousal and pleasure. AKA, dude, bite her clit. She'll love it. Once you become part of the Saber-Tooth Clan, you are admitted to Sanguinarium, an exclusive forum for all members. Though its dark secrets are not fully accessible to the outer court, they were gracious enough to give us access to some of the inner workings of the group. Among the rituals and rules of the group is a page that details the group's religious beliefs, titled Scrolls of Alorath 1, Intro to Living Vampirism. You can see how the clan practices Zephyr or self-transformation through specific rituals. They believe that people can experience a vampiric awakening through metamorphosis and self-growth. This belief, which they acknowledge, is also tied to the Temple of Set. Are you with us? The Temple of Set is a splinter group from the Church of Satan, following what is known as the left-hand path, which focuses on spiritual power, self-dedication, and individual transformation. They also deal with magic and psychic energy, which is a core belief of Sabretooth Clan's transformation process. Keep up. So big, in fact, that people who have attended that everlasting midnight balls claim that Father Sebastian proclaims himself as a religious prophet, one who performs rituals that siphon energy from his patrons at the party and give it to a deity named Fred Semetti.
Whoa.
He's not an Italian Toyota dealer. It's a deity. The deity to whom he sends all his energy appeared to him in a dream during a vision quest while he was preparing for his endless night ball in New Orleans just before Hurricane Katrina. Dear fucking God. Now, at nearly every event, there are altars to Fred where people leave coins and beads. The parallels don't stop there. The Temple of Set also features religious texts that include interviews with vampires and members of the Order of the Vampire, all of which focus on their ability to use psychic powers to drain the life rather than drink blood. This continues with the fourth step for joining the clan, swearing over Ankh, the Temple of Set, also as a subgroup, the Order of Setni Kamost, or whatever, that studies Egyptian magic, including Ankh's powers. Please keep up. So essentially, the Sabretooth Clan is a satanic vampire energy cult that gets new members through selling fangs. It's like a pyramid scheme for Satanism.
They're expensive too.
They are. It's $400 like a tooth. It's fucking crazy. A pyramid scheme that results in vampiric Satanism is awesome.
And they're preying on delusional...
And they're playing on delusional, horny, autistic people online who think they're going to get their dick sucked at a New Orleans party. That's what this is, okay? All of these beliefs are reinforced by Father Sebastian's long list of books, including his Black Veil series, which is essentially the cult's Bible, and Sebastian claims that these books represent his teachings and research on vampire culture over the past 25 years, since the year 2000. Just want to say that out loud, all right? People are so devout to his teachings that they come to his festivals to get married in full vampire attire. Despite being the head of a massive group with clear teachings of self-transformation and self-betterment, trouble still found its way in. Multiple former members have accused Father Sebastian of manipulative behavior, grooming, and ignoring safety concerns at his gatherings. No. What?
A cult-like figure doing
Come
that?
on, a cult-like figure doing that? No. Father Sebastian has outright denied that the Sabretooth Clan is a cult in his now deleted lectures, but his group's core values are directly tied to the occult. He has also made it very clear that you are not just buying fangs, but buying into vampire culture, and if you leave, you'll essentially ostracize yourself from the majority of the vampires. Does that sound like a cult? Hello? This manipulative behavior is exposed more through the interviews with women who claim to be groomed by him. They claim that members who earned access to inner circles through repeated event attendance and personal devotion were given exclusive ritual access. Yeah, that's what it was.
Got to suck my
You can
cock.
come into my quarters. You get exclusive access to you get exclusive access to my balls. Lucky you. These invites made them and all club members feel exclusive, like they belong to an elite group. The process getting fangs from Father Sebastian has also been described as vampiric baptism that you can't back out of. You cannot back out of it. You are in. Hello. During these rituals, Sebastian uses terms like egregor, I don't know what the fuck that is, feeding, and priestess, making obedience seem like a spiritual practice. Members were told they were reclaiming their energy, but were really giving him control over their identity and sexuality. Multiple women have claimed to be sexually assaulted at an altar and were even trapped inside by a bodyguard so they could continue with the ritual. They won't let him leave. Fun stuff. While these atrocities occur behind the closed doors, people who are regular members admit to being harassed by people who claim to be more devoted than them. Does this sound like a cult? Are you in a cult? A satanic vampiric cult for autistic people to have sex. That's your cult. Okay. One woman admitted to feeling unsafe after being bullied and harassed by men who believed they were entitled to them. Fun. Others are being harassed by insisting Father Sebastian debunk the cult rumors. And all these cries fall on deaf ears because if these claims were addressed, it would hurt his empire, right? Motherfucker's got fangs to sell. Sebastian's books are not free and can be purchased either on his website or Amazon. It appears he wants to use his influence to not only sell fangs, but build a multimedia empire. He has also been on countless TV networks advertising books along with his documentaries on vampire lifestyle.
웰컴 로직 합.
Welcome Logic, Happy New Year.
This is all aided in growing his reputation as one of the leaders of vampire community. Zach Bagans even invited him to 2 episodes of Ghost Adventures because he is considered a professional in multiple fields related to ghost and the undead. He sells teeth. He sells fake teeth. In one of the episodes, Father Sebastian passed out from a light anomaly shooting into his body from a cursed mirror. It's very funny. Roll the clip.
You can see that he never puts his hand out to break his fall, and he also strikes his head on the wooden floor so hard that his feet fly up in the air.
Although it may seem like all is well, people are starting to catch on. Not only are his horrific deeds within the vampire community becoming more well known, but some are exposing the fact that many of his books include plagiarism.
This guy sounds awesome.
What a fucking nightmare. God. Listen, the world of real-life vampires can be strange at best and truly nightmarish at worst. It's one thing to role play and talk about your imaginary vampire powers, but those who take things too far by drinking blood can actually end up doing damage to their health. If you want to get involved with this type of community, don't take it too seriously. Grab a pair of fangs and go to a goth club. Get your dick sucked, right? Have some guy eat out your pussy with some fucking fangs in. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And watch Underworld. Just watch Underworld and you'll be fine. You don't have to do any of it. You just watch Underworld and be like, that's my fix. I loved it. If you're carrying around disposable scalpels and asking people for their blood, you might have gone too far. Stay out of the sun, my friend.
I had never seen Underworld.
Yeah.
Yo Prisci 37 Prisci drink 37 Prisci drink.
There's more than one Underworld. Busco thanks you so much for the 29 months. Thanks 37. Thanks 37. Thanks for the long time support. 37. Thanks for sending the vid. Humans thinking they are vampires is nuts. My brodas. Next vid is, why are there no holes around trees?
We can hardly believe it. We've just reached 25 million subscribers. A huge thank you to each and every one of you. To celebrate, our old friend Midas created a limited edition golden duck pin, now available on the shop. And a heads up, check your pin carefully. One of them is not like the others. Trees are the heaviest and largest living things on Earth, with the most massive tree weighing almost 2,000 tons, as much as 10 blue whales. But instead of floating weightlessly in the ocean, it reaches 25 stories into the sky, held in place by surprisingly shallow roots. You'd think trees grow from the ground because, well, they're made of stuff and there's stuff in the ground. But if something so massive and huge ate something down below, it would have to leave holes. Instead, trees are growing by literally eating thin air. But this is only half of the story, because down in the ground, roots are mining rocks in ways weirder than you can imagine. How does this work? How to eat air to grow huge. Carbon is the most valuable material for living things. A chemical multi-tool you can make almost everything from, and a good amount of it just floats around in the air and the oceans. What makes plants so incredibly successful is that over 1 billion years ago, their ancestors became better than any other living thing at harvesting carbon. They used it to grow and grow and grow. Today, plants make up 80% of the biomass on Earth and are the basis for all complex life. All animals eat either plants or animals that eat plants to get the carbon they need. Trees are an especially ingenious way plants found to harvest massive amounts of carbon. Trees are big and heavy, so they need a lot of material, but the atmosphere is only about 0.04% CO2, 425 CO2 molecules per million molecules in the air. To get a single ton of carbon, a tree has to process 6,000 tons or 5 million cubic meters of air. This is a lot. So trees developed sophisticated biological industrial megalopolises, their crowns. A huge industrial park network made from dozens of branches, sub-branches, and hundreds of thousands of twigs that can sense the sun and shape the tree to grow towards it in slow motion. They're carrying up to 1 million leaves, the industrial parks where a tree eats and builds, consuming extreme amounts of resources from the air and fed by the roots down below while vomiting waste and changing the climate around them. Let's zoom into a single leaf. It's made from hundreds of millions of factory cells and optimized to have as much surface area and be as thin as possible to harvest sunlight. While your skin is hundreds of cells thick, a leaf can be just 10 cells top to bottom. On their top, leaves have only a single ultra-thin layer of protective transparent skin cells that let light through and keep water in. Below them are layers of factory cells, filled to the brink with chloroplasts that do the actual work. Beneath them, a spongy layer of loose cells enables gases to travel around. The whole leaf is traversed by a network of vein-like superhighways that carry sugars back down and bring water and minerals up from the roots. At the bottom is another protective layer of cells interrupted by hundreds of thousands of stomata, tiny mouths opened and closed by 2 guard cells that look a bit like lips. Each day, an adult tree pulls up dozens of liters of water all the way from its roots in the ground to these veins, where about 95% of it is sweated out through hundreds of billions of these tiny mouths. This cools the leaf factories, which need to stay in direct sunlight as long as possible, and the air around the tree. And it surrounds the tree with an invisible mist. The vapor from a forest of billions of trees can seed clouds and create rain. Rainforest is literal. Without the trees, the Amazon would be a sad, dry shrubland or desert. The other 5% of the water is used to keep the cells alive and to power the factories where the magic happens, photosynthesis. We're not going to explain the details here, but in a nutshell, with the energy from the sun, water molecules are split into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen is ejected, while the leftover hydrogen and CO2 are forged and reduced into glucose, a simple sugar that's both battery and building block, and the source of most carbon in the world for most animals. Oxygen is not just garbage to the tree, though. To actually use the energy stored in the glucose, the tree has to burn the sugar, just like we humans do, with cellular respiration. So, all living cells in the tree suck in oxygen through the tiny leaf mouths, cracks in the bark, and even root tips tapping into tiny air pockets hidden in the soil. This respiration runs non-stop, and especially at night when the leaf factories stop production. trees actually reabsorb some of the oxygen they produce, and almost all of the rest gets used up by microbes and everything else breathing nearby. Most of the world's free oxygen doesn't come from trees, but from algae and cyanobacteria in the oceans. But this is only half of the story, because the even more insane parts of trees are the second invisible crown, the underground empire of the roots. Most of the water a tree needs comes from rainfall, which soaks mainly into the upper layers of soil. Annoyingly for trees, their crowns are big umbrellas, so their roots need to spread out far and wide towards the side. About 50% of their roots are packed into the top 25 centimeters of soil. They're not a mirror image of the crown, but a dense, tangled mat deeply intermingled with their neighbors. Only if it's very dry do roots grow straight down to tap hidden water reserves, in extreme cases more than 20 stories deep. But this is a rare exception. Most roots reach down 7 meters. But roots have a far more complex job.
I am still waiting. Why are there no holes around trees?
Than just catching water. Just like you can't build a city from only bricks and steel, trees also need some rare materials. Phosphorus to build DNA, nitrogen for proteins, and many more. And all of these are stealthily buried underground. Rocks, dry patches, nutrients, and rival roots are all scattered unpredictably and chaotically. To navigate this shifting maze, roots evolved a specialized sensor at their very tip, the root cap. Each cap is filled with gravity-sensing cells, in which tiny dense particles sink like pebbles settling in a jar of water. So the root always knows which way is down. As it pushes forward, specialized cells detect moisture, temperature, chemical gradients, and the smallest vibrations from water. This raw data flows into the root's command center just behind the tip, where cells produce electrical pulses and move transmitter chemicals around. Signals from the soil are processed, interpreted, and turned into decisions about where to grow. A single tree has hundreds of thousands of these command centers, and they seem to share information with each other. Once a root has chosen a path, fuzzy little drinking straws called root hairs, loaded with enzymes and transport proteins, begin soaking up water and dissolved minerals. But many essential nutrients are locked away in solid rock, so roots evolved to move into the finest cracks. Once in, they fill with water and swell like tiny hydraulic jacks, creating enough pressure to break even the hardest rock. Next, they release a mix of acids that seep into the fractures and dissolve the bonds that hold nutrients in place. Claw-like molecules grab them and pull them in before they can slip away. This sophistication really is stunning, but it gets even wilder. Even with all these tools, to really thrive, the tree needs allies. And it found them. Fungi. The underground networks of fungi can stretch for kilometers. They're so small that they can go where roots can't, slipping between grains of soil to reach distant pockets of nutrients. But they need food. So hundreds of millions of years ago, roots and fungi formed a trade alliance. The trees provide a cut of the sugars they produce far up in the sky, and fungi collect and give them nutrients and water in return. Some fungi grow directly into the root cells, building tiny trade posts where sugars and minerals change hands. Others wrap themselves around root tips, weaving between their outer layers, insulating delicate tissues and protecting them against microorganisms. Today, there are thousands of fungal tree ally species, each with its own specialities. Some only partner with specific tree species, while others are happy to work with almost anyone. These connections often knit the roots of many trees together into vast underground networks. Their scale is gigantic. In just 1 cubic meter of healthy forest floor, fine tree roots can stretch for several kilometers, and for every kilometer of root, there can be hundreds of kilometers of fungal networks. It's one of the largest and most intricate living structures on Earth, and may even connect whole forests. We're only beginning to understand how complex and intricate the relationships between trees, their offspring, relatives and rivals, microbes and fungal networks are. But the more we've learned over the last few decades, the clearer one thing has become. Trees are just so incredibly wild, and we have so much more to learn. Get your limited edition Golden Duck pin now and celebrate 25 million subscribers with us. Now available on the shop. And be sure to check your pin very carefully. It might be a special one.
Thanks for sending David. But in the holes. Lololo.
I'm a bug. Oh, I'm so very small. Little bug. Taking so long to crawl to where I'm going. Where am I going? In your home. Oh, it's so very warm. All alone. So I'll go get my swarm and we'll get growing. Yeah, we'll get growing. In the walls, in the closet, in the halls, oviposit, in the stairs, in the attic, everywhere. Systematic kitchen tiles, table legs and laundry piles. Laying eggs were in your hair, in your mattress, everywhere. Systematic in the fridge, on the ceiling, what's that itch? Tiny feelings in your clothes, in your bedsheets, everywhere. Your house belongs to the bugs, and there's nothing you can do. You're really food for the bugs. Yeah, we're gonna feed on you. One day you'll go to the bugs, and there's nothing you can do. You're really food for the bugs. Yeah, we're gonna feed on you. Your house belongs to the bugs, and there's nothing you can do.
That was scary to some point. I was like, OMG, no. Thanks for sending the vid, my broda. Voice, thanks for being here. Have a good night.
So after all, we turn into bug.
So after all, we turn into bug. That's our last final destination. The last step. Then we become nature. Can't wait to be a tree. Lololo. My brodas, I hope y'all enjoyed today. Thanks for being here. I want a resto. This hotness is not cool. Stay fresh and safe. Please take lots of care and drink lots of water. I hope to see y'all tomorrow for more fun times. Onolith meet on an island? Better another place. Islands sounds spooky. Please take lots of care. Drink lots of water. Please donate plasma if you can. I hope y'all a nice rest of the day or night. Have a good rest of already EP time. Have a good rest if already EP time. See y'all, take care again, and thanks for being here. Bye bye.
まったねチャットさん。and see y'all。バイバイ。スティンキーリン